Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Morning Gardener Show. With the Morning Gardener, of course. Another Wednesday, and the show was supposed to be on at 6, but I had camera problems, so I'm here. Nevertheless, I'm here. Oh, hello. Thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. Good evening. Good evening. Hello. How you doing, Lewis? Hello. Hello. Yes. Ah. I am definitely feeling good this evening. How's everyone else out there? I hope you're doing good. We're here to talk a little bit about gardening this evening, and as we always do on Wednesday at 6 and Mondays at also 6 p.m. How's everyone? Anyone at all? Anyone at all? Don't all jump up there at the same time. I got out there yesterday and got my yard cleaned up somewhat. It's not completed as of yet. Um, just one second. Hello? Hello? Hey, how you doing? Oh, how you doing? I'm gonna have you coming over here, but right now we just want to wait for this Corona thing to go down some. Yeah, yeah. But how you been? I mean, how you been doing? You doing good? You've been a good guy as well. Oh, that's good. That's good. Yep. Yeah, cause we'll go out in the garden and do some garden stuff and maybe stop by that same toy store up there. Where we went at the last time. Yeah. All right. Put your grandmom on the phone there, young man. Okay. No, he's always welcome here. But I was in the middle of doing one of my gardening shows, and I actually got people online right now saying, "Hello, morning garden, hello." But I want you to do me a favor. Definitely keep him in mind because we got to get together now. All right. Okay, and there's no problem with that. Okay. All right now. Oh, no. One thing about it, I always keep my word. It's always keep my word. Got to keep my word. All right. Well, look, you two take care, and I'm gonna go ahead and do this gardening show, which yeah. But check it out if you get a time. Go in and check it out. Shoot, if you got time. All right now. All right. Bye bye. That was a call in front of the gardening show. It's a 6-year-old. He wants to hang out with me, and I don't mind. I don't mind. I like hanging out with him. Um, But you are reminded of the fact that you're an older person now. When you hang out with a 6-year-old, you're reminded of that. Yeah, they move around fast. They're more energy. They're more focused. And like that. Yeah. Yeah. He actually called me up, got on the phone and said, "I want to come over your house. And I said, yeah, yeah. Well, you heard the calls, so this coronavirus thing is all, because, it's something. I haven't seen him in a long time since the coronavirus. It's amazing. Yeah. I just it's interesting how things change in life. But you know, it is what it is. Yeah, they look for a way to get out of the house. Yeah, I'm older almost than everyone I know. Yeah. Good afternoon. Good day. Good day. Yes. Yeah, but I mean, I like the little kid though. Little kid is incredible to me. You know, I never had any trouble out of him. I remember one time I'm supposed to be watching him. I think they still call it babysitting, and I fell asleep. And I think when I woke up, my glasses were like this. I'm like this. I'm asleep, and he was like this, taking them off. And I said, hey. He said, oh, you don't want to break your glasses? And I said, oh, thank you. And I said, I got to wake up because I got to watch him. Don't let him get into nothing. Yeah. My 4-year-old granddaughter is dying to get to my house. Yeah, yeah. And the thing about it, they like the grandparents because the grandparents they like super parents because they already know all the ropes. They know all the ropes and they know how to make a kid really feel valued in everything because appreciate youngsters asking me. Yes, yes, ask me stories. I had him in the yard, and I got a video up of that. I had him in the yard. His first time being in the yard, I had him fertilizing my plants. It was absolutely incredible because I'm watching how his mind works, and he loves seeing the plants, and he got a kick out of it. He was like, "They eat this," and I said, "Yeah, this is just the food that they eat, and we're going to sprinkle it around each one of the plants." And long story short, he was just amazed by it, just like I was when my father gave me a handful of beans, and he said, "Go outside and put those in the ground." And I said, "What, Dad? Why do we put them in the ground?" And he says, "They'll grow, and you'll be able to eat them." And so went out, put them in, and and 3 or 4 days, 5 days later, I saw this weird plant in the yard that didn't fit none of the grass or weeds. And I said, Dad, I don't know what this is, but it looked like where the bean was. And he said, that's the bean growing. And so we grew all the beans and we ate a pot of beans with our dinner one day. And it was beans that I grew. And it felt so good. I was addicted just like that. Yep. Still haven't reached out as far as free date here in Zone 7. Frost free date. Haven't yeah. Right now, the frost date for Maryland is the 15th of April. And I usually wait 2 weeks after that to make certain that there is no frost going to kill anything. And so that's where I'm at with it. Now, I am dealing with plants that are getting large. And they're in these little, the 72 cell trays, and they're getting large. And I am very concerned, but I have been taking them out periodically to getting them hardened off. That's been successful. I did. If you see one of my videos I put up, it shows a 72 tray, 72 size tray, and it has corn seeds in it, and it has two different varieties of corns, which I put a little tape on the side of it, indicating this here is silver queen, and the other side is peaches and cream, and it's just wonderful because if you see how I planted them, I did not use the traditional methods. which is most people use, is putting them in the ground. Some of you have seen some of the videos I've done where they're not put in the ground. And so I am, no, I'm just watching this cat. He's crazy. He's on the way. He just knocked a box over and ran from it after he knocked it over. He is a wild cat. He's big too. But the thing about it is, you know, I'm still in the process of just really enjoying everything I do in the garden. I mean, it's just insane. You know, all the plants are there. They're all growing. I got the herbs to put together, all the herbs. I'm going to do some herbs this year. And also I'm getting calls from people, you know, trying to get some help and information on getting their garden set up. I don't mind talking to people and giving them information. I love it, in fact, but sometimes it could be kind of demanding. I mean, they're getting you coming and going. The phone's ringing, messages being left. People are, you know, trying to get food growing because they feel something coming and they want to make certain that they're all set. Nature 9 and family, hello, how you doing today, sir? I got to tell you, you have been putting up some winning videos, detailed information, follow-ups on them real good. I look for that. And the most important thing I pay attention to, folks, is that I had a friend of mine. He called up yesterday, needed some help. He was wanting to, you know, get things started. And I said to him, actually, you should have been started. I said, you know, weeks ago, but you can still get started now. I said, so what I want you to do is go to the store and get these items. And it was boggling his mind because he never heard anyone that gardens the way I do. I don't garden the way most people do, and I don't pretend to. I grow in a way that my garden is not neat and pretty. I don't grow a neat and pretty garden. I just don't grow one that's pretty. What I grow is a garden that produces. And I know that even though I feed my soil and I do what I got to do, my soil is not the greatest soil on earth. It is a soil that you can work with and you can improve. But it takes many, many years in some instance to get soil the way you really want your soil to be. Or your plants want the soil the way they should be, the soil should be. So that is something that is very, very critical. So that's how I look at it. And also the most important thing about getting your soil is how do you work with soil that has issues. If you have sandy soil, you add a compost. You get some moisture. You get some air into this. Well, you got plenty of air into sand soil, but I'm thinking of clay soil where you have to. You got a tightly dense soil. I use a pitch of a fork or what they call a manure fork, and I lift the soil up. I don't turn the soil over. I lift it. I put the fork in 8 inches. I lift, go back 4 inches all the way in. I lift. And when I do that, it allows to open up that soil so that it's loose, so that the seeds can move through the soil and also air can get into the soil. Then I do a mound on top and I put the plant sitting right on top of all of that with its fertilizer, with its mulch that I put around it, which is grass clippings. And when I do this, I'm saving costs and I'm growing it completely natural way because what people are doing is they're using a method they learned from books and they're using methods that they learned from other gardeners. And it's nothing wrong with that necessarily. It's just that everybody's doing it the same way. When I look at the videos, I say everybody's doing it the same way. They're taking this heavy soil and they're trying to grow plants and they're having issues with it because it's so important for oxygen to get to the roots of these plants. Most people don't know how important that is. They just say, I put it in the ground. That's what it said in the book, and I grow it. And if you look at people's soil, some people have some of these very wealthy soil, these garden stations, that come on. They have this beautiful soil that they pour into these raised beds, and the soil is absolutely flawless. I mean, everything's been balanced out perfect. The pH and everything is in the soil is soft, it's fluffy. It takes a lot of work to keep soil that way, and it can be done. But when you're using in-ground planting, and you are there in a house where when they built it, they pulled all the topsoil off and they left you basically just clay there, you have to remember that's just clay. Now, if the house has been there for 100 years, and over those 100 years, some of the clay, some of the soil that is that being a topsoil is now back because of leaves blowing into the yards and decaying into that location and creating a thin layer of topsoil. It's better off than it was when they built the house. But you can definitely grow incredible vegetables in great soil. The challenge is what people are dealing with a lot of times is they have poor soil, and it's hard for them to admit that they have poor soil, that their soil is almost depleted, overworked, misunderstood, disrespected. The soil is just I mean, and all you gotta do is if you just let your mind look at the soil, just look at it. It's brown. It's when you put a shovel in it, and you see that gray white marbling in it, and it's just clay. Ask yourself a question: would you be able to penetrate roots through that? No. It's sticky. It's hard, and it gets even worse when the sun comes up and the soil starts to dry out a little. And so when you get those roots stuck in that clay and they can't move out to look for food, they literally can stay there and starve. But when you have the soil where you loosen the soil up and then you keep the soil moist with a mulch that you put around that plant, because before the soil gets great, you're going to have to find a way to work with the soil, to work with what you have. And that means mulching. There was a young lady, I can't call her name right now. She just put a video up, and she had a shipment of wood chips delivered to her property. And I left her a message yesterday stating that she might want to consider mulching around her plants. Because when I see farmers, or I see people out there with gardens, and I see the ground naked, now just naked, just ground is just soil. And then you take the example and go to the forest and you say, is this soil naked? No, it's not. Every square inch of that forest bed has something growing in it. It has something growing in it. And it has to be that way in order to keep the soil in place, to keep the soil temperature regulated, to keep the soil nutrition up, because the biology in the soil depends on the plants to eat. And the plants depend on the biology in order to eat. Symbiotic relationship. You got to have that balance. When you till that soil up and you have just open ground and you put those plants in there and you wonder why the bugs are eating them up, because it's the only thing there to eat. I have a few weeds around where my garden's growing, and the bugs prefer the weeds over your plants. Now, another thing is plants will get eaten up by bugs whenever they are distressed. Always remember that. Whenever that plant needs water, food, or you're using the wrong fertilizers, which those unnatural fertilizers, which cause plants to grow faster than they should, which is out of their balance the way they're supposed to grow, and the plant grows real tender, the bugs will eat those plants. And because there's something abnormal about the plant. And remember, basically your bugs are your cleanup crew. That's all they do is clean up. They clean up the garden from sick or stressed out plants. That's their job. So that being in a nutshell being said is that when you have a great garden is when you are paying attention to the rules of nature and you follow the rules of nature. I put grass clippings around my plants because I don't want to go out spending money on straw. I will not use hay because hay can bring in some volatile plants into your yard that are so strong. The weeds are so strong that, I mean, you get weeds that thick around at the base. Vines that thick around, and you can't pull them from the ground. You can't really get rid of them that easy, and it takes a lot of work to deal with those kind of plants. Just got wood chips. And the wood chips, when you put them down, you put them around the plant about 2 inches deep, and you put them around the plant 15 inches wide, and it will keep all of that soil in that location cool, moist, and it'll cut back on you watering it. A lot of times when you water, you wash away your fertilizer. You don't need to keep watering every 2 or 3 days or whatever. You're washing away your fertilizer. And we had a heavy rain today, and I was counting on this rain. And see, I work within nature. When I went out to my blackberry plants, first of all, when I went out to my yard, I reclaimed my yard somewhat. Because I got a video up, just put it up. I just put it up. And when you go see the video, you're going to see that the yard is completely overgrown. There are weeds and vines all in the trees where you can't even see what kind of trees they are. They actually reach up and grab the trees and try to smother the trees out. Because all my trees are about 6 feet tall. Most of my trees are 6 feet tall. And I keep them that small. Those are the cherry trees. And cherry trees don't like to stay small, you know. But you can do it if you prune them in the summer. You prune them in the summer. You prune most of your trees in the summer. It cuts down on their size. But when you prune them in the winter, it causes a lot of this kind of growth of water shoots everywhere. When you cut them when you do them in the winter, in the falls and winter, they do a lot of water shoots. Plants do. It's their way of saying I got to survive. But the fertilizer was put down for the plants, the blackberries, the raspberries, and I can't believe, folks, I cannot believe I did this. I went out there and did not fertilize my grapevines. But there's a reason for that. I always fertilize plants that come out of dormancy when they start showing signs of growth. And that's when I fertilize them. I do not fertilize grapevines that are completely dormant. For what? When they break out, I see those buds swelling, and I put down the fertilizer. And then I let the plants do their own deal. Because grapes are a wonderful thing if you understand their nature and how they grow. You do need to fertilize them periodically. They're not like most plants. They're not difficult to grow. I tell everybody, grow some grapes. Definitely grow some grapes. You know, it's a sign that your house is established when you have grapevines in them. And I like to have, I have 3 different variety of grapevines. And I got these here. When did I get these? Was last year, the year before that? Probably, let's say last year or the year before that. About 2 years. I think it was 2 years or 1 year. 1 year, might have been 1 year. So I got these here. And these are Reliance Seedless. Beautiful grape. Not a real big grape, but it's a seedless grape. And that's a good tasting grape. But the grapevine needs to be fertilized, but don't over-fertilize it. You want to make certain that the grapevine gets what it needs so it can do what it needs to do. And I'm going to tell you something about this grapevine and my other grapevines. I got grapevines I've had for years, and every year they produce. After they get beyond 2 years old, they start producing over and over and over again. But I grow them on a single stake system. 1 stake, 1 vine. 1 stake, 1 vine. And that way it allows me to 3 feet here, 3 feet here, 3 feet here, and 3 feet there. And they're all on stakes. They're all on stakes. And they look just pretty like that. And I grow just enough grapes on each stake. You can use a piece of rebarb, or you could use that real thick garden stake that they had, the green one, you know, the metal one that's got the green covering on it. I do that with them. But the best one is the rebarb. You put it in the ground, you don't have to worry about it no more. And I bought a whole bunch of them. And the day I was working in the yard, I didn't know where they were, and I found out uh, they're in the garage. Yeah, yep, they're in the garage because I know I bought them. Yeah, but the and I bought some bamboo stakes as well. Um, so that goes for other plants like tomato plants and pepper plants, that sort of thing. So that's what I do. Every single time I get out there and get in the garden, it's so many things to do. It stands better just to make a list. So when you're out there, you can periodically look at that list and say, "Oh, I need to be," because I went out there to plant potatoes and didn't get the potatoes planted because I started moving around doing other things. Um, and I said, something I'm forgetting. And after I got tired and really did everything I wanted to do, I said, you forgot to do the potatoes. You forgot to put them in the ground. Now it's the 24th, and these were supposed to be put in the ground on the 20th. So no big deal. They still will go in the ground this week. I'm just having fun. The food is going to be incredible this year. I'm taking my time. I'm watching what I'm doing. I'm constantly checking on my plants because they are fragile to a point where you want to make sure that they're eating right and you keeping them in the right environment, and so you can get a nice healthy seedlings. Um, I have plants that are definitely um, doing well because I grow everything in bulk. I think I mentioned that. If you go look at in my videos, you'll see tomato plants in a container about that wide across, and it'll be about 15 plants in there, and and um, and that's what I like. I like them like that because um, it saves on space. I grow them out, I separate them, and I put them in the ground. But they could get ready to get moved into a bigger pot. They get ready to get moved up to a bigger pot. So that's where we are with that. Yeah. So that being said, let's see. Let's see. How do you make natural fertilizer? Natural fertilizer can be made a number of different ways. I mean, just a number of different ways. One way is to use grass and weeds, and you put them in water and let them sit in that water for a period of about 3 weeks or longer. If I did a God, let's see, if I have a small garden, I only need about a 5 gallon bucket, and I fill it up a quarter of the way with weeds and grass, and then I fill the rest of it up with water, and I let it sit in there for about 3 to 4 weeks, and then I take the mixture that it creates and I put them in a gallon jug. I fill the gallon jug up about that much, about 1 part to 10 parts water, 1 part to 10 parts water, and I'll make my liquid tea out of it. And it is a great, great fertilizer. Now, there are weeds to use that are better for your liquid teas, such as comfrey, or basically any weed that has a really long taproot. And you can always tell those weeds is that when you try to pull them up, they break off at the root. That's one with a long taproot. Um, and you put them in the bucket and allow them to do their thing. And you got fertilizer. A 5 gallon bucket probably lasts you all season because all you use it, you cover it up, or sometimes I just let the flies and the gnats and everything get in them because when they die or drown or whatever, they create an even better uh, tea. Disgusting to a degree, but a better uh, tea for your plants. Adds nitrogen to it. So that's how that works. And the grass clippings also adds a great deal of nitrogen to your tea. Okay. All right. We ain't got much longer, folks. This has been the Morning Garden Show. I guess my Monday shows are better shows because people tend to come into the room and they're more talkative and they have more energy. After they get near Wednesday, which is hump day, you know, and a lot of people are I was just amazed. I'll go to the store and I see all these people running around in the garden department. I was like amazed at that. I'm always amazed at that. I look and say, wow. I was buying all my garden supplies in the dead of winter. Dead of winter, I was buying my garden supplies. When there was ice on the ground, I was sliding around in ice, and I still was out there shopping. And what I was buying was tools. I don't have it up here. I don't think. I don't have it up here. But it was a beautiful tool that I bought. I don't see it in here. This is what I'm going to be using for my foliar spray this year to spray my liquid teas onto my plants. And this is here. I'm not selling this for anybody, but this is the brand I use because I wanted something tough enough to work. And that's what I wanted. And this here came. You put that down in your gallon jug and you make your gallons with it from your concentrated teas. And that's what you do. And that's how that works. And I've been rolling like this for the longest time, folks. I've been rolling. Got everything mapped out. Everything's done. All I'm doing now is babysitting plants because they're the key to everything right now. The soil has been done. If you look at, I want you to definitely, Nature 9 and family. You get a chance, check out that video I put out showing me actually taking care of the bed. Because if you see it, you'll see that he started fertilizing his garden last year in fall and winter. So he's been fertilizing his garden all winter. So his soil is going to be packed with nutrients because that's what I do. I do it that way. I don't wait until spring and start trying to shove bags of fertilizer into the plant, the soil. Excuse me, soil. I got some old stuff that this is the one I use in the house. That's the one I like to use in the house. This one has urea in it. Some people call it urine or whatever. Really great for plants. Really great for them. And all my plants are crazy right now. My plants are growing at an alarming rate. They're doing quite well. I just put a whole tray of corn in. I did that. I saw it that I was missing out. I almost forgot to plant my corn this year. I almost forgot to plant the corn because I said, God darn it, I'm forgetting something. And I was watching a video. I think it was Nature 9 and Family. And I think he had a clip in there. It might have been another video. I'm not sure. But it was a clip in there of corn in a tray. And I said, oh, I did this years ago. I said, let me go ahead and set mine up. The only difference I did was the corn seeds. If you look at the corn seeds in the video that I did, they're not buried underground. They're not buried under the soil. They're not buried under the soil. They simply laid them on top, basically watered them in with some vermiculite, and it's straight. And I did a video on it, and it'll show you how to do it if you're interested. And the seeds pop up a lot quicker. And I did all my peppers like that. I did all of my peppers. I did all of my tomatoes like that. Just sprinkle the tomato seeds on top of the soil. That's what I did. I did not bury anything. And the reason why I did that, because I get a superior product. That's why I did that. It's just a better way of doing it. I used to bury them in the ground, and it 5 to 7, sometimes 10 days to come up. I did not have that problem or concern the last few years because I just simply sprinkle them on top and they come up. And I think that's a better way of doing it when you get immediately you see seeds coming up. And then you take them from the heat mats over to the lights and you put that light down on them to about 2.5 inches off of them. I mean, excuse me, 2 inches off of them. And see how exact I am? Because I mean, I don't like making mistakes. I don't like making mistakes. So it's 2 inches off of them, and they grow. And every time they grow, 2 inches off of them, you get the picture. Um, but when I see gardens on the videos, and I see plants with yellowing leaves, and I see plants with the soil just naked all the way through, I gotta go, wow. And this is the information that people are getting from these other videos, and they're following these videos, they're following them. And that's not what you want to do is have a plant sitting up there with and sitting in naked soil that when the sun comes up, it's going to heat that soil up around 110 degrees, and your plant is sitting out there in it, and you wondering why is my leaves on my squash plants got that wilting look to them, because they've been suffering all morning long to that incredible heat. I will only plant my seeds this way from now on. Thank you for the knowledge, Morning Garden. Thank you very much, Nature 9 and family. Thank you very much. Um, it works for all size plants. I mean, watermelons, everything. And I've been doing it for a few years like that, so I like it, and it works. So it helps. I say when I plant that I have started indoors, I get too long and leggy. Wait a minute. Let me see what I got here. Mr. Price put here, say when I plant when my plants that I have started indoors to get long and leggy, I prune them. Okay, you prune them, but let's go back a second and try to not get them to be long and leggy. Because when I get long and leggy plants, it's two things that happen. One, my schedule at work got crazy and I couldn't get here in time to get them from the heat mat. See, the trick is once they break through the soil, immediately get them off of that heat mat and put them under the light immediately. No hours, no days, no day or two. They got to get off of that heat mat. And then when you get them off the heat mat, it'll slow down their growth for a second. And then you put them under the light, and then they start reaching to the light, but you're still the same thing you're getting is that the short, stout plant. That's what you want, a short, sturdy plant. Now, a lot of plants are notorious for doing it, and some plants do it more than others do, get long and lanky. But when they pop out of the ground, get them off of the heat mat. I mean, if you got 72 plants in there and you have 15 that start coming up, get them off of that. Get them off of that mat. Get them off of the mat, because the rest of them will be right behind them 5 that came up. Get them off of it. Get them under the light, and they'll take care of the rest. Keep your eyes on the watering. Don't try to keep these plants wet all the time. Make certain that when you're doing the seedlings, do not keep them wet. It's good sometimes if they dry out just a little bit, and then you re-moisten them, because we want the roots to look for water. You don't want them to sit there in water and they rot. Let's see, depending on your grow zone. Shirley, yeah, that's all it is. You got to make sure that you're handling your business when it comes to seedlings. You want your seedlings to grow and be successful, and you want to grow enough of your seedlings. Don't grow. I said I need 3 tomato plants. Don't just grow 3. Don't just grow 3. Grow 6. Grow 8. So you know you have your 3. So because sometimes they'll die. Another thing is putting a fan on your plants to kind of harden them off in the house. If you get a fan and you put them on a medium setting, and let them blow the plants back and forward like this, and it stiffens up the stem that they're on, and it causes the stem to be bigger and stronger. Or if you don't, you can just go through the top of them like that with your fingers gently. Do that about 3 times a day. What's hard to do because 3 times a day, right? And you just do like that. And when you finish, then the final process comes. You take them outside. That's Zone 7B. That's me. That same zone I'm in, Nature 9, Family Zone 7B. And what happens is you put them outside, put them in a shady area. Don't put them in direct sunlight. Put them in a shaded area. Keep an eye on them. The first day you want to take them out, keep them out there. Maybe about depending on how cold it is or how warm it is. If it's extremely hot or getting really warm, you want to put them out there about 30 minutes and bring them back in. Next day you bring them out about an hour. Then you bring them back in, and next day you bring them about an hour and a half. You bring them back in, and after you get past that third day, you started to establishing, that the plants are getting hardened off. But you can do a lot of the hardening off indoors with a simple electric fan. All right, good people. This has been the Morning Gardener Show. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming by. Hamburger. Bartender, give me another one of those, please. No, I don't drink. But it's been fun, folks. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this. And we're going to do it again. Mondays at 6 and Wednesdays at 6, both of them p.m. Easy to remember. Stop by again, family, and let's get together and talk about gardening. This is the Morning Gardener Show. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you. Have a good day, and remember, keep on growing.